Tonight we have two stories from the Reddit user TheMaskedRobyn. It continues to stare. I'm scared. It won't stop staring. As I'm writing this, I know it's looking. I feel its icy glare burning into my neck. But I know this cycle. I look over and it disappears out of sight. But then I see its eyes peeping from behind the wall to see if I'm still looking. It all started when I had to stay at my uncle's house, hidden in the hills beyond my city. My parents were on a business trip and left me with my uncle. I unpacked my things into his spare room and opened the window, hoping for a breeze because of the stifling heat in the room. I spent the hours of the day adjusting to the new atmosphere and staring at the ceiling. Night comes, and I lay in my bed thinking about random stuff. That's when I see it. A flash of movement in the corner of my eye. I look over and just about to see its face. It had no lower face, and looked as if that half has just melted away into nothingness. Its eyes were bright white but bloodshot, and it had a few tufts of wet black hair sprouting from its gray scalp. It hid itself behind the doorframe before I could get a proper look at this creature. I never looked away. I then saw its eyes look just over the doorframe, but hastily hide itself again. I asked myself what would happen if I turned my eyes away from it. I decided to find out. I slowly turned my back on it while breathing shallow, terrified breaths, and braced myself for what was about to happen. Nothing. Silence. I stared, too scared to move at the wall. Then I felt daggers stabbing into the back of my neck. I knew it was there. I knew it was taunting me, waiting for me to turn around and see nothing but darkness outside of my room. I flipped around to see the creature once more, but only saw the disappearing white eyes once again. I couldn't take it anymore. I decided to turn around and forget its existence. I felt that terrifying stare again, but ignored it with effort. I didn't sleep that night. I watched the sunrise. I was hesitant to even think about turning around, but I knew I had to. So I did. I slowly crept out of my bed and went out the door. But then I saw it. My uncle's body propped up against the wall, but strangely, no blood. Not a drop. He was dead. But no evidence seemed to say he was dead. He was as pale as the creature, with his eyes wide open, and to my horror, they were the same ghostly white as its eyes. His hair has been ripped out, but a few patches remained. I turned my head for a second to look down the wall, but then I heard something shift behind me. And I felt that stare again, behind my neck. The end. And the second story is called It Keeps Playing. Somebody send help. I'm not sure how much more I can take. It keeps playing over and over again, and it won't stop no matter what. Let me give you a bit of a backstory. I live in a large 1800s Georgian house. It's not a giant, creepy mansion sitting on a hill like you might have imagined, but instead it's a seemingly normal house, which sits beside a quiet street. I moved in here about a year ago, and everything was normal until just recently. I own a music box. I've had this music box since I was a baby. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was a birth present. My parents would wind it every night for me to sleep, and it worked. Now, this box has somehow moved in with me 22 years later. I don't know how it didn't make it into my parents' loft along with all my other old stuff, but it was the only thing from my childhood that moved with me. Yesterday, I decided to wind the box a tiny bit to see if it still worked. I opened the lid carefully and miraculously, it squeaked out the same old tune from when I was little. I will never forget it. I held it in my hands before setting it back down on the table that I had put it on. I left it alone, but just a few hours later, I heard the song ringing out. What? I hadn't gotten near it since I wound it before. Plus, you had to open the lid for the song to play. So, why was it playing again? The lid was locked shut, so how could it play? On the music box, there was no way to stop it from playing until you eventually had to rewind it. So I just had to wait for it to reset and then leave it. The house was quiet for the rest of the day until the evening when I was getting ready for bed. I slid under my duvet and got comfortable. And that's when I heard it again. That song. It was singing again. I didn't know what to do. It hadn't stopped playing since. The bathroom door had creaked open a few times, and I've heard footsteps disturbing the floorboards beneath the carpet, but I haven't seen anything. I've only heard that song. I'm going crazy. I can't take it. It won't stop bloody singing, and I don't know what to do. Send someone. A priest, maybe? I should have returned it to my parents as soon as I found it in a box that I used to move. I just heard footsteps right outside my bedroom door. The music got louder, as if it was just outside my door, too. I'm scared. I might be dead, or worse, by the time somebody gets here. But just tell my parents to smash that bloody box to pieces as soon as I'm gone. My door creaked open. I'm not looking. Tell everyone I love them. The music stopped. The end. Terrified's breaths. Terrified's breasts. Oh, nice. But only saw the disappearing white noise. White noise. Wow. I'm not sure how much more I can take. It keeps playing over and over again and it won't stop no matter what. Let me give you a bit of a bad story. Big of a bad boy. This has been Gray Stories. I hope you liked them. Good night.